Hello, Edge of Steps Nation. How y'all doing here? This is Olay with Ladder Your Success. I'm honored to be joined with Festus Amoye, founder of Ladder Your Success. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over a couple of questions. Our parent liaison, Esther, has been sweeping through the interwebs looking for issues and questions from parents who are dealing with anything from trying to help their students get from high school to post-high school education, scholarships, grants, people who are dealing with student loan debt, people who are trying to figure out what to do, looking for programs, you name it. She's been searching the web looking for real life situations so we can put our be no do, so we can put our LYS handprint, fingerprint on it and start helping young people, start helping families start to ladder their way up to success. So we got two questions here that we're going to go over, right? First question. How are parents even affording college and dorms these days? It feels like we'd have to sell everything we own just to keep up. So very valid question, very valid concern, Festus. It just seems like a parent who's just finally, we were just talking about folks who were just dealing with 100 different minute things. And this is one of the major things. And they're just like, hold on, how y'all paying for all this?
Yeah.
Right. So what are your thoughts here? Parents saying, how are y'all even affording college and dorms these days? It just feel like we had to sell everything we own just to keep up.
Okay. So a couple different things, because these are assumptions. And the assumption is this person has not set up a 529 or some kind of investment for their kids, things like that. And so now it's late in the game. So one of the number one things you can start doing is budgeting, because it sounds like there wasn't really a plan to begin with. And so since there wasn't a plan to pay for college, then now everything is right here, right now. And so just practicing budgeting will help. So then that way you're starting to say, okay, that $100 we could put aside for items you need for your campus. Two, budgeting will help the student as well, because what ends up having a tendency to happen is that's where we spend a lot of that student loan money on things that do not bring the long-term investment that education brings. So when you talk about education and paying for education, what you're paying for is access no longer to information. No, you're not paying for information. You're paying for access to network. Is the number one thing you're paying for if you're going to school. That's why your students should be on campus, is because your student, if they're on campus building relationships, are building relationships with people who are going to tell them where the next job is, are going to tell them where the future is going, right? This is why, and don't get me wrong, I love my revolutionary people, but when they burn it all down, and it's what would you rebuild in this place? And generally, when you ask that question, they will say something similar to what's already there, right? Oh, no, we just need community learning hubs where people can go and do research and hang out and talk about ideas. You're talking about a college campus library? That's just exactly what it sounds like to me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I don't want to get too far off track, but by you learning budgeting, your student learning budgeting, you'll be better prepared. Now, let's talk about specifics about affording that dorm rate. WORK, work. Okay. So whenever you are behind in anything, in a game, in life, you have two different choices: brain work or physical work. And so part of the brain work is saying, what city do we live in? What town do we live in? What opportunities are available that are near campus that my child could engage in that will then generate some of the revenue? Or, hey, when you come back, you're going to do every odd job under the sun during break to try to get $1,000 together during the break. You're not going to come back and sit on my couch and I'm going to worry about paying for student loans. No. So those are some very real options, right? Is budgeting first and foremost. Second, work, mental work, which is doing the research about what's around, and then physical work, just getting your hands dirty.
Beautiful, beautiful points, Festus. I think also I could be looking too much into the semantics, but I think it's just for better, for worse. Even if there is a parent who has this mindset, this is something that I want to bring up that I just want to get your input if I'm on the right track. When a lot of people say keep up, I think this parent is talking about keeping up in regards to paying for college and dorm rooms and all the auxiliary costs that come with it, right?
Yeah.
But there are some families that may feel because we live in this area, because students in my child's high school are going here, my child wants to go to that school as well. And we want to do everything we can to help them be with those people and do that for the sake of networking. But at what cost? No pun intended, but at what cost? So I think one of the things that we've done a really good job of is bringing reality to the situation, right? Is, okay, you really want your child to go and do nothing against a liberal arts education, nothing against an English degree. But if I'm going to send my kid to Stanford, you're not going to go to Stanford for English. You know what I mean? You're going to go, you're going to get something substantial, right? And outside of going for just trying to keep up with the Joneses, if you will, the bigger importance is of finding your purpose, correct? Before we even make those decisions, right? Anything to that?
No, I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the next question, all right? This person says, let me make sure, because it may not be. I think it may be a person or not a parent. Hello, I am $70,000 in debt and just completing my second year of college. Any advice for looking for scholarships for my next 2 years? Cost of attendance is $20,000 and living on campus is $15,000. My parents don't pay any of it. And at my current job, I make $200 biweekly. I'm also paying on my loans right now, so I don't collect too much interest, but only about $50 a month. This sounds like something from Dave Ramsey. Bob from Tennessee's calling. Go ahead, Bob. How you doing? Better than I deserve. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Festus. Go ahead, man.
No, I'm with you. This is a very tough situation because you're doing the right things and it sounds like you're just looking for relief, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to get my education and those different types of things. So in that situation, a couple of different things. Because you're already in your second year, you've done basically the basics. Things like credit by exam might not be as helpful to you, right? But that's one option, is saying, hey, let me go look if there's any other classes I need to take that I could do credit by exam for, and start to bring down my overall tuition bill. Because if you're saying, hey, I'm spending $30,000 a year, $35,000 it sounds like. So I'm spending $35,000 a year. And in that $35,000 a year, I'm taking probably 5 classes per semester. So I'm doing 10 classes. So that means for those 10 classes, I'm spending about $3,500 per class, roughly, based on how the math sounds. A $90 credit by exam is saving me $3,410. You see what I'm saying? And so I would definitely look into credit by exam for those classes you still may need to be able, you still could take. So you could just go to www.clep. You could just Google search CLEP, credit by exam, and I would say, go start there. Okay, and that's going to save you some immediate money. It's not a scholarship, so you don't have to apply and wait and be turned down. You can just do it. So that's number one thing. Number two thing is start talking to your professors, and not just going to them and complaining, right? But going to them and saying, hey, I really like this class. I really like this subject. I want to learn more. I need some scholarship opportunities. Have you heard of any? I need some work opportunities in this field. Have you heard of any? So professors, they're getting bombarded all the time by emails from different businesses, newspapers, different type of entities that are basically asking them for their expertise. And so sometimes they're able to say, oh, there has this scholarship that just became available. Or, hey, they have this. And sometimes it's not even at the forefront of their mind, especially because they're here teaching class. So you need to catch them during their office hours, right? That's the second thing you could do. The third thing you could do is go to your campus's financial aid office and ask who here works on scholarships. So every campus has a financial aid office, and usually they're just doing FAFSA and getting your bills to you. But you need to also say, hey, who here at this campus does scholarships? By going and meeting with them regularly, there's some local scholarships that are being offered that they don't have the money to brand or to fund. So let's say somebody does $1,000 scholarship on bold.org, right? You could also go to bold.org and look for scholarships. There's some scholarships on there, but they don't have the money to promote the scholarship. Okay. They will go to the school and say, hey, here's $1,000, you give it to somebody who's deserving. The school, if you don't go check with them, they don't know you're deserving or not, right? So you need to go check with them regularly. And so those would be the kind of top things I would recommend. The kind of last things that I would recommend are more for leaving campus. If you know what career you're in, start looking at the job opportunities in that field. Okay. For example, if you're doing healthcare, some of the hospitals will fund your tuition if you're working there. They'll say, hey, we'll give you, for example, I did this. They gave me $5,000 a year. And in return, I had to promise to stay there for 2 years. Okay, so you're telling me you're going to give me $10,000 and you're going to guarantee my job for 2 years? I'll take that. Right. And so now but that's like an instant raise, and people don't think about it like that. If they're going to give you $5,000 a year or $2,000, whatever they're going to give you, that's almost like an instant raise that, your managers have signed up on. And so those are things to consider, because at $200 every 2 weeks, you're not going to make that much progress. You're doing the right things, but you're just not going to make that much progress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, I got a good chunk of really good information there. I hope they got that from there as well. So, man, just thank you so much to Esther for going out there searching the interwebs. We've been doing this for about maybe 2 months now. We got plenty. So the hope is every week we'll drop 2 or 3 of these at the end of our podcast to kind of help teachers, educators that are dealing with whatever issues that are going on in regards to education, student loan debt, student scholarships, grants, you name it, we're there for you. If you've got a question that you want to do, just put that question wherever you're watching this. Put a comment in there with that question. We'll be sure to get at it as soon as we can, all right? So for Festus Amoye, my name is Olay Shorunke. We hope this helps you as you continue that path of laddering your success. Y'all take care now.
Absolutely.